A hurricane warning remains in effect for Jamaica as Hurricane Beryl continues to threaten the island. The Met Service says the current official forecast track nudges the system to the north and increases the chance of the eye of the hurricane passing over southern sections of the island. Heavy rainfall is expected to begin affecting the island early Wednesday morning and will later be accompanied by hurricane-force winds. Beryl will also deliver dangerous storm surges and battering waves along coastal areas, starting with eastern parishes. The Met Service is forecasting dangerously high water or a combination of dangerously high water and exceptionally high waves, even though winds may be less than hurricane force, averaging at least 119 kilometers per hour or 74 miles per hour. Principal Director of the Met Service, Evan Thompson, is encouraging residents to prepare for significant rainfall that will cause flooding.
We are expecting that after daybreak we should be starting to experience the rainfall from the system, and that will continue right throughout the day. Also, we're looking to experience the stronger winds. It will start with some gusts, and then gradually those gusts will become sustained winds that will reach to storm force, possibly hurricane force, especially over the southern parts of the island. All of that plus storm surge. If you look very close to the coast, you're going to be seeing where the winds are pushing the waves of the sea onto the land, and that could be also devastating for you. There are communities that have already been devastated by that kind of scenario in previous hurricanes, and so if you are anywhere along the coast, if you have structures there, be very careful to move away from the coast when the hurricane is passing.
Principal Director of the Meteorological Service, Evan Thompson. Beryl is now a Category 4 with sustained winds of 155 miles per hour, just shy of the Category 5 threshold of 157 or greater after ripping through the Windward Islands, where it killed at least 6 people. It was the earliest Category 5 on record in the Atlantic. And the Jamaica Public Service Company is reminding the country to prepare for outages during the passage of Hurricane Beryl. Director of Corporate Communications Winsome Callum says a decision could be made to turn off the electricity based on the intensity of the storm.
We recognize that it has strengthened and a decision will be made closer to the time it impacts the island, how JPS will deal with whether we turn the power off or not. As at now, there is no plan to turn the power off. However, we are advising customers to expect power outages. While the grid is built to withstand a certain level of hurricane intensity, we will always have external conditions that will cause outages.
Director of Corporate Communications in the JPS, Winsome Callum. She was speaking today on the morning agenda on Power 106. Members of the public are advised to stay away from downed power lines and poles during and after the storm, unplug large or sensitive appliances in the event that severe weather conditions result in fluctuations in power, and ensure solar panels and other roof fixtures are secure in place. Backup generators should also be operational, gassed and put on settings which prevent a backfeed onto the JPS grid, an issue which can be hazardous to JPS crew members. And the National Water Commission says it has activated its disaster committee to ensure all emergency measures are implemented. Communication Manager at the National Works Agency, Stephen Shaw, says the agency has been making progress in its efforts to clear drains in most parishes across the island.
So we have been making significant progress with the cleaning and clearing of critical drains right across the country. We are doing our mitigation works, but we have some special areas that we are giving attention. We have been able to clean some critical drains in Ocho Rios, in St. Anne's Bay, in Montego Bay, in Port Antonio, sections of St. Elizabeth and Manchester. We also are doing significant work in sections of St. Andrew, St. Thomas and Hanover.
Communication Manager of the National Works Agency, Stephen Shaw. Mayor of Portmore, Leon Thomas, says the municipal corporation is rushing to clear major drains in the municipality and prevent widespread flooding due to Hurricane Beryl. Speaking with Radio Jamaica News this afternoon, Mr. Thomas said the National Works Agency has been slow in sending heavy-duty equipment to clear the major drains in the municipality. He said the equipment only arrived yesterday.
The situation is that we need NAA to be more proactive, because if they did listen to us, we would never find ourselves in this position that we are in. We are hoping that, the equipment that are placed there now, that they will complete a good portion of it, that we can relocate them to another few of these major drains within the municipality. The municipality deal with the minor drains, and all our minor drains are ready for the occasion that we are expecting. But we want NAA to come and help and assist to get rid of some of the debris within these major drains.
Mayor of Portmore, Leon Thomas. Meanwhile, Mayor Thomas says supplies are being distributed to the shelters across the municipality.
All our shelters are up. Our shelter managers are trained and ready. We distribute the kits to them already, and all the various agencies. We have meeting yesterday, and everybody is ready. We will be activating our EOC 10 p.m. tonight. So the shelters within the communities, those will activate as soon as the hurricane gets closer to us. Our major shelter within the municipality is the Portmore Community College over by Art. That is our major center.
Mayor of Portmore, Leon Thomas. He says several high schools in the municipality have been designated as shelters. And the Transport Minister Darrell Vaz has announced that the government has granted an amnesty for motorists whose vehicles have been impounded.
I'm encouraging everybody who has a vehicle that has been impounded at one of the Transport Authority pounds to make arrangements and go for your vehicles. If it can't be done today, as soon as the hurricane has blown over, to go. Transportation is a key aspect in any natural disaster, and therefore we will deal with the payments and the paperwork after. What we want is for the persons who have lost their vehicles for whatever infraction to get them back, as long as they are roadworthy, and of course in keeping with the requirements for license and insurance, that they be allowed to utilize these vehicles in a natural disaster, and we will work out the rest. After the hurricane, I'll speak more to it.
Minister Vaz also announced that by later today, toll-free access will be granted to applicable thoroughfares.
I'm about to sign a ministerial order under the Toll Authority to allow for free access to both sets of highways, east, west and north, south, between 6 and 12 tonight, once again to allow for people to be able to move around, making last minute arrangements, especially with the roads as congested as they are, to allow for persons to access the highway to get home earlier and safer to prepare for the impending hurricane.
Transport Minister Darrell Vaz. The Ministry of Education has authorized all school boards to end the summer term on tomorrow instead of the previously scheduled date of Friday, July 5. This as Hurricane Beryl is to start impacting the island tomorrow. The ministry says with varying weather conditions expected across different regions, schools may face unique challenges, particularly with scheduled activities such as graduations or first form orientations. School boards and administrators are urged to assess local conditions and make decisions that prioritize the safety of students, staff and community members. In light of the threat posed by Hurricane Beryl, the Sangster International Airport in St. James and the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston will temporarily close tonight. PAC Kingston Airport Limited, the operator of NMIA, said the airport will be closed at 10 p.m. Meanwhile, a media release from MBJ Airports Limited said Sangster International will close at 11:59 p.m. and remain closed throughout Wednesday to ensure safety during the hurricane's passage. It said following the hurricane, a comprehensive assessment will be conducted to determine when it is safe to resume operations. Passengers are urged to contact their airlines directly for flight rescheduling information and confirmation of flight status before traveling to the airport. MBJ Airports Limited said updates on flight operations and the effects of Hurricane Beryl on operations at the Sangster International Airport will be posted on its website and social media pages. The majority of fishers have heeded calls to evacuate the Pedro Keys as Hurricane Beryl threatens to deliver life-threatening storm surge and flooding. More in this report from Prince Moore.
Shernet, who is among those who left the Pedro Keys this morning, says conditions at sea influenced her decision to return to the mainland.
Well, last night was rough, but fan through. This time look like it a come near and near, right calm. You can't walk on the sea right now.
So normally when the storm come in, the sea calm?
Calm. Every time storm a come, she shine. So but you have a couple people left back over there, so then now come. And majority come. Some gone to St. Elizabeth, some come a Rocky Point. It's good for you left half a Pedro Key, because they say touch up on the south side.
Shernet says of the approximately 400 people who make a living on the Pedro Keys, about 12 of them have declined calls to evacuate, opting instead to remain behind to protect their assets. Meanwhile, commenting on the fact that she lives in a flood-prone area on the mainland, the Rocky Point Clarendon resident says she will not be completing a second evacuation.
No, sir, I not move, I can't move from so much when I left Pedro Key already, I not left no more way. So, I left Pedro Key already. When I never want to live. I left Pedro Key when I never want to live. I not move go no more further. If you want to come up on the house, stop.
Rocky Point Clarendon resident and Pedro Keys business operator Shernet, speaking with our Clarendon correspondent Hopeton Henry. Prince Moore, Radio Jamaica News.
At least 3 people have died following the passage of Hurricane Beryl in the eastern Caribbean. 2 people are reported to have died in Grenada and 1 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is not immediately clear the circumstances under which the 3 lost their lives. The storm made landfall on Monday in Carriacou, an island of Grenada. The Prime Minister of Grenada, Deacon Mitchell, warned that there could be more fatalities than the 2 reported in Grenada so far. Mr. Mitchell said the true extent of the damage would not be known until officials were able to reach Carriacou and Petite Martinique. Communications with both islands remain disrupted. Thousands of people are still without power and many are in temporary shelters in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada and St. Lucia. In news further afield, a New York judge has delayed former President Donald Trump's sentencing until September as his lawyers seek to challenge his conviction after a Supreme Court ruling. Mr. Trump was initially scheduled to be sentenced on July 11. His legal team asked for his conviction in a hush money case to be overturned after the nation's highest court ruled Monday that former presidents had partial immunity for official acts during their presidency. Justice Juan Merchan said Tuesday that he would issue a decision on the motions by September 6. If sentencing is necessary, the judge wrote that it will take place on September 18. In May, a New York jury found Mr. Trump guilty of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, making him the first former president ever convicted of a felony. Prosecutors said Trump had reimbursed his fixer, Michael Cohen, for hush money paid to an adult film star who claimed she had an affair with Mr. Trump. The money, paid on the eve of the 2016 election, was covered up by falsely labeling it as legal expenses. It is the first of Mr. Trump's 4 criminal cases to go to trial.